Boy, man over the middle, and that ball intercepted! Intercepted again by Aaron Hyatt, a one-handed pick. I thought that was a for sure touchdown, and Hyatt comes up with one of the nicest interceptions you will see. My goodness.
Welcome in Deseret News Rewind. Dusty Litster, Dane, Stewart, as always, presented by Heidemann and Associates, brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard, and outfitted by Black Clover.
That's right, Dusty. We're both done in our Black Clover polos today, and you guys feel nice and cool and comfortable in the bearing heat of the late summer sun. Of course, winter coming up, you want to make sure you got the right outer gear for the cooler temperatures that are on our way in the next week. Black Clover has a full line of men's and women's gear. They've got polos. We talked about the outerwear, the jackets, longer sleeve stuff. Also have hats. I love my Black Clover hats, folks. If you want to feel the gear, you can check out their store off 123rd South in Draper next to the water park, or you can see their full lineup at blackcloverusa.com.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're a business owner watching this, we know we have a lot of parents or grandparents, if anybody watches, they're business owners. They also will take care of your company too.
Yeah, embroidery
and take care of it all right there. Yeah. Go to blackcloverusa.com, or if you have questions about that, hit us up. We'll get you connected with the right people at Black Clover. Hit us up at News Rewind at Dusty Lister or Dane_Stewart. Let's jump right into the video this week. Week 4. Oh, it was an interesting week.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into it. Let's go to our opening statement brought to you by Heidemann and Associates. Give them a call or go to the website www.utah.law. Get a free consultation, and if you're a COVID frontline worker, they're still doing free wills. Get a hold of our friend Justin Heidemann. Let him help you out. Yeah. Week 4, we're about near midway on the year. Yep. That's so awesome to say. And we wanted to talk about some of the people and guys in the state who may be leading the nation. Maybe some states got behind us, but either way, it's still fun to say I'm the number one in the nation. But just talk about some of the stat guys, Dane, because there are players in this state that have been unreal through 4 weeks.
Analytics, folks. That's where we're going in athletics, and we're going to get you caught up. And, you know, Dusty, you talked about a lot of young men that are leading the state in the top 5, top 10 in the country in a lot of these national categories. There's good reason for that. Utah was the first state to kick off. They've played the most games. But, hey, you got to run with it while you can,
absolutely.
Right? And to your point, there are a few headliners here. But, Dusty, as I was doing prep, I was surprised at a couple of young men that stood out that weren't on my radar. So it was great for us to be able to get some new names as well that we'll make sure that you're aware of. Some young men having some fantastic years.
Should we do something that we normally don't do first? Let's go off the radar first.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's go off the radar first.
All right.
You know where I want to start, but I won't. So let's go off the radar first.
Well, Dusty, I'm going to start with defense, huh? Let's start with defense.
Now we're really off the radar.
Now, yeah, right?
If we had pancake blocks on here, we'd really be
Look,
there.
I got to keep Dusty in control. It's not all about the passing attack of Corner Canyon. Sorry, Charger Nation.
But it is.
How about young men that are just absolute pass rushers this year? And we can start with John Henry Daly. Young man had 7 sacks through the first 3 weeks. I hadn't seen his stats from the game last night against Farmington yet. He was leading the state with 7 sacks, but you want to know what? He was tied, Dusty. How about Lorenzo Tuaone out of Hunter? Also had 7 sacks on the year through the first 3 weeks. Lorenzo, hats off to a young man. I know we got a lot of Hunter fans that watch us. I had no idea he was having that kind of a start to 2020. Lorenzo has been spectacular. Let me give you another name. And he didn't have 7 sacks through the first 3 weeks. He had 3.5. That's Chris Esparza. We'll talk about him more. He probably doubled that on our game Friday night. Plays for these very Bruins. Again, we'll get to that. But a young man to keep your eye on in 4A who's been an absolute dominant pass rusher in the early start.
You know, let's make sure we give this little caveat too. We film this show Saturday mornings.
Yeah, it's about 10:15 right now.
So the stats haven't been updated. Yep. You can get mad at us on Twitter, but I'll just send back to you. Hey, we do this early in the morning. We like to have it done. We got things we get done during the day. But yeah, Saturday mornings when we film this show. So Dean, our top 5 plays. Get them to us as early as you can on Saturday. We cut that Saturday night. I stayed up about midnight getting that done. So there you go. Peeled the curtain back a little bit. Let you know what's going on at Deseret News Rewind. Yeah. How about here's a fun one. And here's the reason I said this too. 4 guys last reported, 4 passers in the state through 4 games over 1,000 yards. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And that is Jackson Dart, Sam Levitt, Braxton Brolenbroke, and Braden Bunnell out of Pineview. And then Landon Bowles, almost there. He might be there depending on one's reported. And then my guy, Carbon County ties, Maddox Madsen, almost there, and I think he probably got there when it was reported.
My goodness. Maddox Madsen, you talked about the night he had Friday night. 9 touchdowns. 9 touchdowns.
How many touchdowns?
9.
I don't remember 9 touchdowns.
Second now behind the great Cameron Cooper.
His were in regulation. That's the little asterisk.
Great point.
There's the asterisk for Maddox.
Yeah.
Maddox's were in regulation. Cameron threw a couple in, what was that? Double overtime.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Great point. Anyway, big night. Our quarterbacks, man, they are throwing touchdowns like we ain't seen before.
Well, it isn't. It's awesome. I mean, it's just the evolution. When we first came in the state, we started the year after Lark, Nelson, and Kate all broke the record, and then broke it again the next following year, where things started to change a little bit. And it's just awesome to see 15 years later that these numbers are just all over the place. How about rushing leaders? Because we got a message. Hey, why don't you talk about the leading rusher in the nation? Okay. So Spencer Ferguson out of Davis, 700, as reported last nights were in there. He had over 721 yards going in, I believe, to Friday night.
Yeah, he had, 230, I think, a couple of weeks, or 2 weeks ago against Northridge. Had another 100-plus game last night. I think it was 130 or 150, if I recall. On Friday night, he did, in a win for Davis. And, this is a young man. We talk about that Davis offense. This looks like a different Davis team. We thought they would be. We thought they'd be contenders in Region 1. They've looked that way. Large part Spencer Ferguson, what he's done on the ground in the first 4 weeks has been huge for the Davis Darts in that offense.
Yeah, 138 yards rushing on Friday night. And then Izzy Gordon. If there's one thing about being able to run, Izzy Gordon, we had him on the show last year out of Roy, been absolutely spectacular. Boone Latham, young man out of Union, over 500 yards, and then Landell Gale out of North Severe, and then Logan Shobe. You saw Logan last night, was number 5 going into last night.
Yeah, the crazy thing is Logan Shobe was averaging over 200 yards a game prior to that game last night. We're not going to tell you how that went. Well, we will in just a minute. How about one more for you, Dusty? You ready for this?
More.
Yeah.
You want more?
Yeah, I threw you there. Yeah. Getting a little antsy, jumping ahead of me a little bit. Dusty likes to talk offense and all that stuff. I got to give the defense some love, right? We talked about sacks. How about interceptions? Cannon DeVries, 7 interceptions on the year through 4 weeks. Folks, just don't even throw it that way.
A sophomore.
I know you might feel like you can fit it in that gap. No, you can't. Cannon has been spectacular this year for Weber. We got another young man we'll talk about as well. Plays for these guys, the Mountain View Bruins. We'll talk about him as well. Aaron Hyatt has had a fantastic year roaming as a safety. I think he's up to 5 interceptions now, if my math does me correctly. Been impressive. With all the air attack that we've seen in the state this year, you got to have a good safety, some good corners to try to limit that, and Cannon DeVries has been as good as they come. Leading the country in that.
Do you know what receiver can't be covered by any corner or safety?
Well, he's got to play for Corner Canyon.
He does. Noah Kerr leading the state in receiving yards as of what has been reported.
Fisher Ingersoll's really upset with you right now, Dusty.
Just wait a second. Because I run the Fisher Ingersoll bandwagon.
Yeah.
Again, if you didn't know, Fisher committed to play baseball at BYU. Got to have a chance to play football.
Yeah.
I mean, my gosh. Last night in the first half, folks, 7 catches, 256 yards. In the first half. Kid's unreal.
That's what we like to call a big night. Oh. A young man probably icing his legs, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, I would talk about that. Boone Abbott and Chase Roberts were a great connection.
Yeah.
Maddox and Fisher have one more year together. Oh, and by the way, there's a guy named Noah Moyaki.
He had a big night too.
Yeah, big one. Let's go through a couple of names fast. Dominique McKenzie, Jacob Regan out of Green Canyon, who had a game-winning touchdown, and then our guy DeAndre Randolph, who is 3 for 3 on the top 5 plays. Let's see if he goes 4 for 4. And then Darius Clemens, young man out of Oregon that transferred in, was at number 5 coming into last night.
Christian Wren, state's leading tackler, plays for the Pioneers, who are starting to look like the team that we all thought they would be.
Yeah, 2 good weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know if that coincides with the fact that we threw Caleb Lemming and Ethan Fleming on their games for 2 weeks. Maybe we'll send them this week too, Coach. That'd be a good one. Any other ones you want to bring up, Dane?
No, I think I'm good.
I think we're good too.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our game of the week. We went off the beaten path. Dane, that's why I let Dane go off the radar early, because Dane went off the radar this week. And it's a fun one. We're here at the Broom Bowl. Why? Because our game of the week was Mountain View at Ogden.
Yeah, how about two teams? A lot of people ask me, hey, where are you going to go this week? And I tell them, they're like, really? It's like, they're combined 5-1. Ogden was 3-0, Mountain View 2-1, coming off an impressive win over Dixie. And talking with Coach Anderson before the game, said, did your players have a little different step in practice this week after beating Dixie? He's like, yeah, we did. We believe how good we can really be. And it was an opportunity for both these teams really to make a statement on the Region 10 opener. We get into this one. Mountain View had the opening kickoff. And Dusty, you know, this Mountain View team, first drive, they were just moving the football, but then it ends up in a fumble. Ogden able to recover inside their end of the 50, and just 2 plays later, Ogden hands it right back. So Mountain View going to pick up essentially where they had left off.
So charitable.
Huh?
So charitable.
Right? They're givers, Dusty. Coons to Hare, opening touchdown of the game. It's 7-0 for the Bruins. Ogden couldn't get much going next drive. Mountain View with the ball again. And how about this interception? Ozzie Norton, his 4th of the year, an impressive one-handed grab as Ozzie able to take this deep into Mountain View territory, would set up a short field, and a couple plays later, it is Holt to Shobe, a 26-yard throw. Ogden on the board, tying things up at 7 apiece. Later in the first quarter, Coons would add a touchdown run. It's 14-7 for Mountain View going into the second. And how about this? Ogden, Dusty, a 4th and 1. They go for it. That Mountain View defense, we talked about how good they were. We'll talk about it more. They come up with a big 4th down stop. Mountain View football, short field once again. And this capitalized with Hone, a 5-yard rushing touchdown. 21-7. They would add a field goal as the half would expire. 24-7 Mountain View. We talked about that Mountain View defense, Dusty. They were all over the place. Esparza was so good in this game. That whole defensive front, Mounga was aggressive up front. Hone, a linebacker, he played a really good game on both sides of the ball for the Bruins. Start of the second half, Dusty, 24-7. Ogden gets the ball and an interception. Aaron Hyatt coming up with his 4th interception of the year. Ogden would give it right back on a fumble. Or Mountain View would give it right back on a fumble. And then Ogden, how about this? Ogden is driving, a chance to get back to 2 possessions. And folks, you won't see a finer interception in center field than this one from Aaron Hyatt. His 5th of the year, 2nd of the game. And Mountain View would get the ball at the 20. It would be a long drive, I think the longest of the game. Coons able to finish it off, a 10-yard touchdown run, 31-7. Ogden would add a couple touchdowns in the 4th quarter, show up with a 5-yard touchdown run, and then Holt able to find Norton on a 64-yard passing touchdown as Mountain View had some subs in late. And to me, that really spoke to just how good this Mountain View defense was, right? When the starters were on the field, Shobe couldn't get going. It wasn't a lot of time for Holt to get the ball away. Receivers were covered. It was tough for Ogden to move. When the bench came in and some of the, depth players started to get some time, Ogden was able to move the football. And it just speaks to how good this Mountain View defense is. We talked about Esparza. He had to be in 3 sacks last night. He had 3.5 coming into the game. He was a dominant force. He and Hyatt won our Utah Army National Guard players of the game, because I like to do that.
Always does more than one. Yeah.
In a solid 31-21 victory for the Mountain View Bruins.
You ready for a fun fact?
I love fun facts.
So we did Mountain View. You know the first touchdown call I ever had, because you mentioned the last name, was Raymond Mounga at Mountain View against Payson back in 2005. So here in Mounga at Mountain View, they have to be related. Have to be. So, yeah, 15 years later. Now that our guy, 1280's guy too, Jay Catch, Mountain View Bruin too.
That's right.
He's already politicized.
He's
begging to come do a game. His brother was on the team last year. Yeah. So, great win for Mountain View.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun to be able to come down here too. Yeah. Best is 6A. I'll go first here, Dane. It was a game of the week for us. Speaking of Jay Catch was there. Region 4 is no longer undefeated because of the Harriman Mustangs. Cody Lazenby was absolutely clutch, ran the ball extremely well. He threw the ball well. Yeah. But in the end, Westlake came back, had a chance to tie score late in one play. They get the ball at the end of the game. One play up the sideline. Harriman in a Riley Jensen mental toughness moment of the week. We might have another one of these too. By the way, if you're looking to hit the next part of your life, you need some help, just having a hard time breaking through. Look, I put it on Twitter, and I'll always show this, but there's been a couple times where I've just been at almost my breaking point. And I've reached out to Riley. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, terrific counselor, and he helped me through lots of things, just getting my mind right. Wasn't a magical stuff, just helped me get things right, see things clearly, help me step back and recognize where I need to go. He'll do the same thing for you. If you got an athlete that needs to get best, that's what he does, sports performance, but also helping you with some stuff as well. Go to RileyJensenConsulting.com and go schedule an appointment with Riley. He'll take care of you. But and it's a new segment for a new part for us, and that is down 17-15. You just gave up a touchdown one play. This game could go. We're gonna go to overtime. But now if we step up and take care of business, and that's what Harriman did, and they get the 17-15 win. By the way, little gem we found, I don't know if it's a little gem, but off of Kula, that kid, there is a cornerstone to build on for this team this year. Off of Kula is that guy.
Had a rushing touchdown in that ball game. And how about that Harriman defense? Because that Westlake offense, we talked about how good they've been. Braden Ross and company. I think they only had one offensive touchdown in that game, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the last touchdown.
Yeah. All right, hey, Dusty, that's a good one. We already alluded to my best of 6A, but when you throw for 9 passing touchdowns on a night, it's got to be American Fork. 69-49 a victory over East. How about this? Some interesting notes about this game, and Coach Matich and East, just plug your ears. You're not going to like where this is going. 69 points, the most points AF has put up in 50 years, Dusty.
Oh,
Wow. 69 points. We talked about the 9 passing touchdowns for Maddox Madsen. Ingersoll, you talked about his big night, had 3 receiving touchdowns. Moyaki had 3 receiving touchdowns. And how about this? The first time the Cavemen are 3-0 since 2011.
Wow, how
Been
about
a lot
that
of
one?
2-0s.
Yeah.
First time they've been 3-0 in almost 10 years. Congratulations, Coach Beam and the Caveman, on an impressive win over the East Leopards.
How about that first half? 34-all. That game was a blast. I mean, it was like, wait, just like last year. That was a good one. How about this one in 5A? And out of best of 5A. How about Provo? Provo went out and had a tough week against Westlake. They go to Spanish Fork. And what did I tell you in the schedule video? If you play against Spanish Fork, it's going to be close. 12-7. And here's the thing. It was a touchdown pass at the end of the game to Rock Magleby. But the play before that was a better catch than Magleby's, which was a terrific catch. Called back on a holding penalty on the defense. But I mean, this was a hashtag DNRT5 play for Provo, but called back. But the next play, beautiful ball, and Magleby with the catch, and it's a 12-7 win for Provo. As they also, defense came through at the end, get the interception. And Coach Smith.
First home loss.
First home loss.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the Dons are moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
They absolutely are.
Yeah,
but a big, nice win for Provo.
Yeah. Impressive bounce back for Provo, off to a tough start this year. Hey, my best of 4A, we talked about this team as well. How about a game that was close in Lehigh and Mountain Ridge, and a big fourth quarter for the Pioneers, pushing them beyond 23-0 fourth quarter. There was no Peyton Dieters.
Oh, it wasn't. It's a good one.
But we did have an impressive performance from Chandler Jenkins. 4 rushing touchdowns for the Pioneers. Cooper had a rushing touchdown as well, as Lehigh gets a solid victory over Mountain Ridge.
You're just janking my chain with that one, aren't you?
I was all excited. I was excited to see Peyton.
Janking my chain there. Yeah.
Okay.
Peyton Dieters. We'll make sure we get that one in. Best of the rest. Sorry. Peyton's mom would be so mad at us. Juan Diego. How about this? Up 28-7. Up 28-7, or pardon me, 28-10. Late in the fourth quarter, Manti gets a touchdown from Tyler Takiyaho. They get a field goal from Seth Cornelson. Okay, just over 3 minutes left. Manti kicks off the Juan Diego, stop him, get the ball back, and go right down the field 85 yards. And it's a 20-yard strike. Keegan Strickland from Jax Perry. Manti's now down 28-27. What do? They go for 2. Pass interference. They go for 2. They get it. Wait. False start prior to the snap. Not going up 29-28. Line up for the point after. An absolute kid boots it wide to the left. And a Soaring Eagle, who's had a tough start to the year, get the win. It was Dallas Larson, an 80-yard touchdown run, had another one as well. The Soaring Eagle get a escape from Manti. The Templars couldn't get them out of Manti. The Templars lose this one. Soaring Eagle take it 28-27.
Manti had 2 failed PATs and 2 failed 2-point conversions. Points left on the field and ends up biting them. Juan Diego gets the win. Oh, man. That's a tough one. How about my best of the rest? We talked about this team. I wanted to be at this game, Dusty, because I thought Kanab Millard was going to be a slugfest. And the Cowboys, they took care of business. Hey, look, we're tired of hearing about Jed DeGraff and Reed. The Kanab Cowboys go to Fillmore and take care of it 27-0. 4 different players scored for the Cowboys, who got their first win over Millard since '04.
Wow.
Hats off to you, Kanab.
If you're going to win one like that one.
Right?
And we had that one on Deseret News Rewind Live. I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And absolutely outstanding. Congratulations to the Cowboys. Yeah. Let's get to the quick hits brought to you by the Utah Army National Guard. If you need a quick hit in your life, you need to make that next step, and you just don't know if you can financially take care of that step, Dane, one of the best places to look is the National Guard.
Yeah, they've got over 150 different career path options available, so certainly something to suit your interest. And, up to $20,000 in educational assistance, as well as up to $20,000 in signing bonus available, depending on the career path chosen. To learn more, you can visit nationalguard.com.
Do you feel that, Dane? Do you feel that?
I feel some heat.
I'm a little happier today. Do you know why?
BYU's playing on Monday?
Close. My Carbon Dinos!
Hey!
Get on the left side of the column. Oh, man. Judge came down to town. I remember in 1993, I think it was, the first time I watched Judge come to Carbon. They marched down the hill and they knocked the daylights out of my Carbon Dinos, my brother. And, but tonight, or last night, Friday night, they came back into Dino Field and my Carbon Dinos took care of business. And not only that, there's a young man with some Wellington ties, not just Carbon County ties. Keaton Rich, his papa, Delbert, same age as my older brothers. Delbert, hope your boy played well. Keaton had a couple of touchdowns. Carmichael had an interception to seal the game in the end. And Davin Moss had a touchdown. White Leather had a touchdown as well. Probably Davin Moss had two of them. As my Carbon Dinos won 42-25 over Judge.
Cheer for old Carbon.
Carbon will win, fight to the finish, and never give in. You do your best team. I'll do the rest team.
I love it. Yeah. Love it. How about Bingham and Tintview? This was a big headlining game this week, and for the Bingham Miners, we talked about going to take some time for Coach Beck to get there. Built up a 24-0 lead at the half. Tintview, 2 defensive touchdowns. Allen had a fumble recovery. DeMooney had a pick 6. Maine had 2 rushing touchdowns in the win for the Miners, 31-21 over the T-Birds.
I did a thriller earlier talking about Manti and Juan Diego. How about Box Elder, Bear River?
Yeah.
Box Elder up 22-20. By the way, everyone in our picks, including us, picked Box Elder to this one. Bear River, my 4A. What am I doing? I've been saying 3A correspondent. My 4A correspondence. The Bear River Bears must have saw all that.
Yeah.
And it was a late touchdown pass. I mean, a gorgeous ball. Cale Wilcox, 36 yards out from Josh Payne. 26-22 winners. Bear River knocking off Box Elder. They don't do it a lot. First time since 2017. Yeah. 2 out of the last 10 games.
Wow.
Bear River knocked off Box Elder.
Trailed by 10 going into the 4th.
Yes, they did.
And it was the 100th meeting of the battle for the Golden Spike going the way of the Bears. Congratulations, Bear River. How about, Dusty, another classic? This one in Region 2, the West Jordan Jaguars, the Hunter Wolverines. And, man, this one was crazy. Farmer with 3 rushing touchdowns. We talk about Tua One, how good he's been for Hunter. He had 3 rushing touchdowns as well. In double overtime, West Jordan gets the 35-28 win over the Wolverines to kick off region play at 1-0.
Just impressive. I mean, to watch that different part of that. St. George schools, we had a bunch of big ones. This is one that you were interested in too. We picked Snow Canyon, Canyon View.
Yeah.
Landon Fry continues to have a terrific year. Threw the ball all over the place. 49-14 win for the Snow Canyon Warriors, giving Canyon View their first loss of the year. By the way, Jake Hill had a couple more touchdowns as well.
Dusty, how about Cedar City? 37-7 over Crimson Cliffs. Braxton Torres had a pick 6 and a kick return for a touchdown, scoring in all sorts of ways for the Reds.
Maple Mountain.
Yeah.
We told you, Region 8. You got to look out. Maple Mountain goes into Springville. And I tell you, we've watched this kid for 3 years now. Tyler Nelson, he continues to do his thing. Yep. The only thing he didn't do in this game was throw a touchdown to Kyson Hall. Didn't matter. 29-15 win as the Golden Eagles stay, well, they only have 1 blemish on the year.
Yeah.
But playing really, really well, get a win in Region 8 opener.
A game that they competed in. Could have beat PG.
By the way, Aiden Seuli, that kid is going to be a problem. A problem for Region 8 defenses. That kid is an absolute monster. By the way, if you haven't seen him, number 7, a monster.
Maple Mountain's good.
He's a Jed DeGraffenreid of Utah County.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Dusty, I got one for you. And Tooele. Been a tough start for the Buffs this year. Taking on Ben Lohman, who's been off to a good start for the Scots. And this game was 8-6 at the half. Tooele took care of that. 27-0 second half. Tadifa had a passing and a rushing touchdown in the win for Tooele.
I kind of feel like we've hit the way back machine a few times because Brighton's been really good. Bountiful's had a pretty good year. But how about the Brighton Bountiful? Man, it does feel like it should be like in 2001. I could see it on the cover of Deseret News on Saturday morning. I go pick up the paper to read about what we did the night before at Carbon. Gabe Curtis. By the way, Gabe Curtis is in the top 10 rushers in the state of Utah. Man. Gabe Curtis having himself a year because he's also in the top 10 passers in Utah too. hit Colin Edwards early, and then Curtis had a 3-yard run. Cornelius from Bountiful had a 40-yard interception return for a touchdown. Cornelius is really good, by the way. There's a kid we need to talk more about from Bountiful. But on the night, it was just too much from Brighton. Mason Young had touchdown runs of 58 and 19 yards as Brighton took care of business, 36-17.
How about the way back machine? We talked about Mountain Crest last week.
What?
Well, we're going to talk about them this week, but probably not in the way that they would like. Bonneville with a 42-14 win over Mountain Crest. How about this, Dusty? Bonneville came in best. We talk about how good he is every week for the Lakers. Just had 2 passing touchdowns this week because everybody else scored. They had a punt return for a touchdown, a block kick for a touchdown, a fumble return for a touchdown, and a pick 6. The Lakers doing it every way you could.
I think Skyview could just move to Idaho because they're the reigning 4A champions in Utah. They're just dominating Idaho. Dane, what's going on here?
Hey, in fairness, Idaho was slow to start, okay? Get off our backs, Dusty.
Hey, as long as you take care of people from Rexburg, I will cheer from people from Logan all day long.
I have yet to see anyone from Utah beat Centennial.
He has a point. But Skyview was all over Madison. Last week they played on a Saturday. I'll make sure to mention that this week. Yeah. How about Morgan? Morgan got off the schneid.
Yeah.
They go into Logan, take care of business. Gavin Turner hit a couple of field goals for Morgan. And then in the end, it was Gavin Turner again. He hit 3 field goals in this game. 3 of them. 25, 41, and 28 yards out. Jacob Regan had a touchdown pass late in the game from Jake Lundeen. Just was not enough. And it's a 16-14 win for the Trojans.
Look, there's one team that you can only really bring up when Carbon wins, and that's the Emory Spartans. How about Emory? 54-35 over Union, and it was a race by Jace. See what I did there? You got 2 Jaces that played. Jace Curtis had 3 rushing touchdowns. Jace Mangum had 2 rushing touchdowns. Jace and Jace in the win for Old Sparta.
I'm bringing up this game because I know Dane doesn't want to. Duchesne and Milford. The Milford men have had a tough time getting above Millard County here. 28-14 win for the Eagles and 2 perennial powers in the 2A classification, as it was a night from a lot of guys. Let's go through the scores. McCovey Jessen had a touchdown. Brock Adams had a touchdown. Cameron Brady and Parker Crum all had scores for Duchesne, leading the Eagles 28-14 over the Milford men.
How about, we talked about a young man and old Landon Bowles. North Sanpete, huh? How about 18 of 27, 327 yards, 6 passing touchdowns, and a 52-28 win over previously undefeated Richfield. North Sanpete. Who do they think they are putting all these points on the board, huh?
Ready for a fun fact?
I love fun facts.
North Sanpete, they're not out for revenge. It's a reckoning for the last 2 years. If you know the movie quote, hit us up. I'm going to get a sponsor for that. Hit us up at D News Rewind at Dusty Litster at Dane_Stewart. If you know what movie I'm quoting, tell me the character too. It's not revenge they're after. It's a reckoning. So
lots to be reckoned.
As we were at the Bruin Bowl.
Right.
But how about this one? Pleasant Grove. We didn't talk about it. I feel like the team that's played the best this year, we haven't talked a ton about. PG. Levitt and crew have played absolutely outstanding football, and Isaac Vaha had a great catch, 30-yard touchdown, as Porter Connors had a 23-yard pass from Rex Connors. The brothers Connors do everything, and Simon Levitt to Darius Clemens. By the way, Darius Clemens is going to be a problem for lots of people. His wrist is feeling better, but PG, here they come.
Lots of problems, not a lot of solutions.
Just score more points. There's my solution.
How about the Lone Peak Knights, Dusty? And this is a team that's looking like the Lone Peak of yore, playing Farmington on the road, 55-7. As Romney had 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. That defense continues to be lights out. I got a new name for him, Dusty. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Lone Peak will hereafter be known as the Knights who say nay because they don't allow you to score. They have not given up more than 8 points in a game this year. They've only given up 18 through 4 weeks. The Knights who say nay, that defense, legit. It's going to be a problem.
You got another one?
I'm looking. Oh, yeah, here's a big one. This one hurts too. How about Riverton playing Granger, Dusty? 35-6 for the Silver Wolves. They had 3 defensive touchdowns in this one. 3 pick sixes, a fumble return for a touchdown. So that's 4. Sorry, that's even on one hand. I should be able to do that. 4 defensive touchdowns, 35-6 over the Lancers for Riverton.
Let's get to Looking Good, brought to you by Black Clover. This is the best individual or team performance from the weekend, and we might have more than one on these. But Dane, your pick.
I got to go first?
Yeah, Looking Good, Black Clover.
A game that we have not talked about. I did that on purpose. I don't know if he did or not. But it can also qualify for a Riley Jensen mental toughness moment of the week. How about a team that looks to be one of the favorites, one of several in their region, falling down 14-0 in the second quarter to Cedar Valley, and Crew Huxford saying, you know what? We just need one. Just need one, for a recent reference. Ends up with 6 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Caden Clark had 2 receiving touchdowns, 60 yards and 70 yards. But Crew Huxford with 7 total touchdowns on the night, 6 of them through the air, and a come-from-behind win for Stansbury over Cedar Valley, 56-21. Crew Huxford, congratulations on being my Looking Good Player of the Week.
That's a good one. I think you all know where I'm going on this one. Teased a little earlier. He has connections to Carbon County. He's my guy, Maddox Mad Dog Madsen. And I'm going to throw a couple more in there, too. I normally don't do this, but I can't help it. Fisher Ingersoll and Noah Moyaki. Yeah. 9 touchdown passes for my guy, Maddox Madsen. He also threw one to Garrison Grimes, too. But Moyaki had a 34, a 4-yard catch for touchdowns, and a 2-yard catch from, as well. Fisher Ingersoll, 88 yards, 78 yards on scores. Wow. I mentioned, and a 2-yard. Hurting the average, Fisher. What are we doing? We mentioned 256 yards in the first half. The totals on the night have not been fully reported yet. But you can't look much better than that. 9 passing touchdowns on the night from Maddox, hooking up with 2 of his best targets in Fisher Ingersoll and Noah Moyaki. Looked so good on Friday night against East.
Good call.
If you got anything else we missed, hit us up on Twitter. Just be nice. That's all we ask. Know that we filmed this early in the morning. By the way, top 5 plays, get us to us early on Saturdays. We've got so many eyes out that we try to pull as many as we can. We know we'll miss some. Hit us up. We'll make sure we take care of that. Dane_Stewart at Dusty Litster at D News Rewind. Go check out our fans, our friends, all the companies help us. They're here to help you. We bring them in because we know them. That's why we bring them in. But for Vince Francis and Dane Stewart, I'm Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us and watching Deseret News Rewind on Deseret.com.